Well, my name's Rebecca Vargas and I am the Marketing and Publicity Manager for Lunar Palace Cinemas. I'm based in Cinema Paradiso, which is in Northbridge. So I take care of all the publicity for the films releasing at Paradiso, all the festivals, as well as taking care also of the Windsor and Lunar on Essex. And I work together with Tony Bective, who you've spoken to, and he does the publicity for Lunar and Lunar Outdoor. So together we've got a lot on our plate. It's a good job. I think I've got one of the best jobs in Perth, actually. Yeah. I started working for Lunar Palace 3 years ago, just making popcorn, selling tickets. And kind of once I got into the company, I kind of could identify where I wanted to go and where I wanted to be. And I just started hounding my boss, Ingrid. I'm bored. What opportunities do you have for me? And she rewards loyalty, definitely. Basically, I get paid to watch films and then to sell them to people. And it's my job to get people into the cinema, which is hard and it can be very stressful. But at the end of the day, when I look at what I did that day, okay, so I came into the office and then I popped out and watched a film and then I came back and did this or that and organised a promotion for this film or organised an event. You just got to think, like, this is a good job. This is what I want to do. And we've got heaps of people working for us that are film students. I think prerequisite, anyone wanting to apply for Lunar Palace, if you don't say I love film on your resume, you're not going to get a look in. And it's great. We have like staff screenings sometimes where one of our student ushers will put on one of their films, or we'll just have some crazy obscure German film from the 50s that we'll screen after hours, because we all love it and we will watch anything and everything. Which is particularly great when we have all these foreign film festivals coming in. And we all, like, all the staff are excited about it. I think that's something people can pick up on when they walk into a Lunar Palace cinema, that the person behind the counter has watched the film, has an opinion about it, and will be honest with you about what they think and if they think it's for you as well. Which I think people appreciate. We've got really loyal customers. So basically, Tony, Ingrid and I will watch a film. Sometimes a distributor will contact us and say, look, I think this is great for the Lunar Palace circuit. I'm sending over a print. Can we organise a screening for the three of you to watch it? Sometimes they'll just send us a DVD screener, or sometimes we will have kind of sniffed out a film already and we'll be asking around who's bought the rights to distribute this film, can we see it? So when we all see it, we'll have a discussion about where we think it will fit, if we think it's something we will screen. Ultimately, it is Ingrid's decision, and she seems to back the right horse all the time. She's just got a real knack for it. And there are times when we've seen a film and I think in my head it's perfect for Paradiso, and she'll put it at Lunar Leaderville, and I'll think, and then it will open and it just makes killing. Yes, she's onto something. She knows something. Generally, the films that we screen at Paradiso, we can pick them out. Like if it's a foreign film, if it's quirky French drama or something, perfect for Paradiso. If it's more of an edgy kind of independent film, for example, The Loved Ones, perfect for Lunar Leaderville. And she just seems to know, and then once it's decided where we put it, and Tony and I will, depending on what location, if it goes to Paradiso, I take care of it. If it goes to Lunar, he takes care of it. Although on some occasion there's been a particular film that one of us has loved, like really loved, and has said, no, I want to work on it, not you. There was a film called The Stoning of Soraya M, which I saw and I didn't really know how to approach it and how to sell it to the public, and Tony just did, so handballed that one to him, which is good that we can do that. It's it's fun, and it keeps our job interesting. He likes the real hard-hitting documentaries. He likes all the Michael Moore kind of stuff. There's a documentary we've got coming up called Gasland by Josh Fox, which is about the natural gas thing they're doing in America, and this thing called fracking that they're doing, which is just making a lot of people sick. When I saw it, great film, but I saw it as a hard sell. You know, it's not. I like my feel-good films because they're easy and breezy, and you can get your group. I love organising for groups of girls to come in, and then we do the little packages at the bar, and it's all nice and airy-fairy. Whereas Tony, he's got a knack for the more serious stuff, so he's been working away on that, and he's doing a great job on that. So if a French film, like a quirky Audrey Tautou French film goes to Leaderville, I might sometimes put up my hand and say, Tony, can I do it instead? Because, yeah, I love her, and I love the breeziness of all her films. It can be difficult at times. When we do take those bigger films, like I said, we sometimes take those wide release kind of films, and we don't spend a lot of money or time on them, purely because they're going to be advertised in a much broader way, like on bus stops, on radio, on TV, on occasion. When we get the opportunity to screen something exclusively, which is what we really like to do, that's when a lot more time and effort goes into it, and that's when the distributor will give us an allowance for an ad budget. So we've got a bit more of we can play around a bit more with it, and we can, have that lovely joy of putting at the bottom of all ads exclusive to Luna Palace, which is always great. And it also just it just helps us. It's those exclusive films really kind of carry us at times, because the wide films, yes, we're great for events, but for the general person, if they want to go see a big blockbuster, they're probably going to go to a Greater Union or something like that, which is fine. That's kind of the way we like having those little niche films that you can only see at Luna Palace. And I think, the quality that we get, it's a high calibre kind of films that we get. We always love to support Australian films, and Ingrid will put more money into those. A lot of the smaller distribution companies don't have a lot of money to play around with. So that's when you'll see in places where a big distribution company will appoint actual publicists to work on a film, like an actual publicity company, as opposed to just the publicists such as me and Tony are. So it's a lot more work for Tony and I, but the benefits and what we get back is so much more. When we have talking pictures events and we can get these first-time directors in, get them showing their film to a full audience and asking questions and answering questions afterwards, that's a joy for us. And those films, generally, the general public might not pay them, so we comp a lot of those screenings, but we want to support that new first-time director, and we want to support that up-and-coming actress, because we know that they're going to remember us, hopefully, in the future. When they make it big, they'll come back. Well, Australian film, I guess we have an affinity with all these independent distributors, and with Australian film. Sometimes, I know there was a bit of a kind of a backlash last year, because a lot of Australians were going to see the big Hollywood blockbusters, and so these fantastic Australian films were coming and going without really getting a chance for the production company, for the directors, and for us as the exhibitor to start to reap the benefits. Generally, as it goes, when we take on a film, we're required to show it for 4 weeks. Now, in the first 4 weeks of it, the split that we have with the distributor, it's more so leans towards them. So in the 5th week is when we start to make more money. And when we have a film that's a small Australian release that the general public, they're aware of it, but maybe they choose to go see a bigger mainstream film, it won't screen past 4 weeks. So that's where the problem kind of comes in, that it was a great film and we gave it our all and we've screened it for the required time, but it's not making money. We have to take it off to make room for something else. But had we been able to hold it for that 5th week, everyone would be winning a bit more. And then what we find from time to time as well is that we'll get a phone call and go, oh, this film is on, oh, it's over already. And it's like, oh, why didn't you come earlier? Why didn't you express some interest? But yeah, it is like Australian film. We've got another thing is that we need to give back to these people, give back to these people that are making these films. So we always encourage all our staff and everyone that we know to come see these Australian films. And I think the calibre of Australian films is amazing. We've had the past 18 months, just one after the other, of fantastic Australian films. Animal Kingdom is the first one that comes to mind. Another really small one called Lou with Emily Barclay in it was just amazing, and that's another one that we only screened for 4 weeks because people weren't really aware of it. It had a small distribution company that couldn't afford to really shout about it. Lake Mungo, which was another great one. And this was the one that actually couldn't even find a distributor in Australia, which was really sad. So what ended up happening is that the producers decided to distribute it themselves. And so we've seen that a bit as well, where the director or the writer will actually just go, you know what, I'm going to put my own money into this and see what happens. And we always try to pick up those. Of course, it gives us more power in negotiating our split as well, but if we can screen it past that 4th week, then everyone's going to win. So that's what we try to do. That's what we aim to do. Boxing Day is the biggest day of any cinema. That's when all the major releases, and a lot of distribution companies will hold off. They'll probably have it in mind to release it in November, but they'll hold off until Boxing Day. So we've got some great stuff releasing on Boxing Day. Somewhere, which is directed by Sofia Coppola, who of course did Lost in Translation. The King's Speech with Geoffrey Rush, which is just getting amazing Oscar buzz around it already. And some great French films. I love my French films. So Heartbreaker is a really quirky comedy, and Sarah's Key, which has Kristen Scott Thomas, who is just amazing in everything she does. I could watch her paint a wall and be impressed. Yeah. So that's coming up at Luna Palace. We've also got our outdoor season coming up. Camelot starts December 9 and Luna Outdoor December 16. And given that we've had 18 months of really strong releases, it's going to be a really strong lineup at both outdoors. Luna Outdoors tends to do the first release films. So we've got some great films coming up, like I mentioned, Somewhere and Sarah's Key and the like. Whereas Camelot, we tend to screen films that have already played. So we'll have The Social Network there, Wild Target, King's Speech, all these kind of stuff. The best of what's come out in the past 18 months. So it's great. And I love the... working at Camelot last year, we had so many tourists come in to see it, and they just love the whole concept. A lot of the ladies from like the UK, they're like, wow, we can watch a film outside. And for us, it's just something that we've become accustomed to. Like, we've got so many outdoor cinemas here, so many fantastic outdoor cinemas. So it's just a bit of a, oh yeah. But for tourists in particular, they just find it just amazing. They can go and have a drink under the stars and watch a film, and yeah, it's a real nice concept for them.